Houston, Texas, what's going on? It's your boy John Ross, and I have with me my lovely wife, Kizzie Farmer.
What? Kizzie Dike, you mean?
I'm tripping. I'm tripping. I'm so used to. I'm tripping. Before we get the episode underway, I apologize, baby. Before we get the episode on the way,
Okay.
I want to give a couple of birthday shouts out.
All right.
Okay, I want to start off in August.
Okay.
Late August, because we are in episode 17. We already did up until August the 26th or so. So starting August 31st, we got our nephew, Michael Farmer.
Mike.
Okay, we've got my homegirl, Ruby D. Love. She was on the 31st.
Okay.
My coworker, Miss Stidham, was on the 31st.
All right. Shout
Moving
out
on
to
into
coworkers.
September, we have September the 1st, Vincent Black Blues Johnson.
Vincent.
The 3rd, we have my man, Timothy Hood.
Tim.
The 4th, we have Mario Wanza,
Mario.
as well as Houston's own Beyonce.
Shout out to the queen. My bad.
And then
It just caught me out guard. He shouting out Beyonce. I mean, hey.
okay, and then
She might hear this one day.
I hope so.
Yes.
I hope so. B, we talking about you. H-Town, stand down. And so lastly, the 5th. What about the 5th?
Okay.
September the 5th.
My girl Dawn Brown. She's my line sister. Happy birthday, Dawn.
Okay.
To my mentor. I think she knows that I look up to her. I call her Sister Sheila, but AKA Wiz.
Okay.
Her birthday is on the 10th.
So it's coming up.
Yes.
Okay.
And then drum roll, please. My husband, JR, your birthday is on the 18th.
We got some time. So
Yeah.
so we were gonna record 19 and
Oh.
then
Okay.
hopefully after. So
Gotcha.
but Houston, Texas, man, the episode is starting in 3, 2.
Yo, it feel like 95, Sachi on my body, Biggie, Jigga, Puffy, all that ballin' is a hobby. And I'm wildin' in my wallies, and them valleys, no Pilates. More weight, get you more wet. Nah, that's these Spumante. My crystal ball, I see crystal, I crystal y'all with that. I saw the sign like Ace of Spades, that Ace of Spades get cracked me like cheers to the money guys, the Willie niggas who buy them bottles, and then they spill these liquors. Yo, salute my dude. I see you, dog. 5 bottles, 1 dick. Why I need 2 bras? I know I'm out of line.
Houston, Texas, we are back. Salutations. Today is September the 2nd, 2018, Labor Day weekend. My name is John Ross, and to my immediate right, we have my lovely wife, Kizzie Ross, Kizzie Dike. Make sure that you follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at JohnJack_ and VM_ LLC. Make sure you visit the website at www.visionarymovements.com and check out the previous now 17 episodes on the website. Oh, and we are on the go now at on SoundCloud and on iTunes. So if it's an inconvenience to watch us at YouTube or on YouTube, you can follow us on SoundCloud and iTunes and catch us on the go.
Oh, wow.
But
That's pretty official.
Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas. Let me say how much of an honor it is to be in the presence of this beautiful woman right here to my right. This woman here. Oh, it's custom at Visionary Movements LLC, Mrs. Ross, that we present a feature with a gift and a token from our company. Okay. And I have here, since you are an AKA, all right, I have here a pink and green Lutz. A pink and green Who Cares t-shirt. So whenever you get a second, these are on sale, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever you get a second, rock that and, tell them where you got it from.
Okay.
And that's to
Thank you.
You know I love you. I love me some you.
Thank you.
All right. So Houston, Texas, man, it's been a long time since we did this on the episode, but we have a bottle here. All right, Miss Kizzie, we have a bottle. And I want to go ahead and pop this bottle because this is for me, this is a special occasion. I'll have you know that last time when you were last on the podcast, September the 16th, 2017, episode number 9, The Missus, we were actually getting married. We were actually on the way to getting married. Right. T. Melly was there. We were engaged. T. Melly was there. And we were at the studio. Since then, we've advanced and we've gotten our podcast to be on the go. So now we are afforded the ability to come to wherever the guest is and record at their locations for comfortability type things. So we're here in our humble abode, our place of residence. Welcome. You know, we had to tidy it up just a little bit, wash dishes and wash some clothes, so everything wasn't all over the place.
It wasn't that bad.
But I want to pop this bottle, all right? So you ready?
I'm ready.
I ain't gonna get it on you.
No, I just don't want you to put my...
Let me get your glass.
Okay, here we go.
And it was a hassle getting her here today, but she finally agreed to come, so I'm just grateful she's here.
Oh.
So what's going on?
I'm glad Kizzie's here. I think Kizzie gonna bring some different flavors to the set today.
Most definitely. Most definitely. So you're getting married in October?
I'm getting married or we getting married?
You said Q&A, so I just threw that out there. We're getting married.
October 21st, I shall be marrying the love of my life.
Oh, look at that.
The guy who has stood by my side through some pretty rough times. Yes, clap it up. Clap it up. That definitely deserves a clap. The guy who has shown and exuded love beyond measures. I mean, it's just crazy how I learned other avenues and assets of love through JR. So, yeah, October 21st, we're going to solidify that before God. We're going to solidify it before the people. And then we're going to solidify it amongst ourselves.
Yeah. So what's going on? How are you?
I'm well.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How have you been?
I'm all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the podcast.
Okay.
All right.
These were our glasses that we used during our reception ceremony.
So they got her name and my name and the date we jumped the broom on them, right? So talk to us, man. How you been? It's been a long time since we had you on the podcast. Talk to us and cheers. Tell us how you've been and what's been going on with you and how life has been since you tied the knot and jumped the broom.
Oh, Lord. Where do I...
Talking to the mic.
I'm sorry. Where do I start? So, of course, we got married October 21st of last year. And within the last year, I think...
We're actually coming up on a year. We haven't quite... By the time this episode drops... You know, we'll be close, and we won't be officially at that year's
like 1
time.
month out, maybe.
Yeah, so I didn't want to, bombard that month of celebration with a podcast. I think that was something that we need to celebrate together, not the podcast taking over, or the podcast being a place where we celebrate our one year anniversary. So, yeah, continue on what you were saying.
So within the last month, I can honestly say that not much has changed. It's just been more so getting acclimated to being married.
Yeah.
And as far as career-wise, everything's still the same. The last year has just really been getting to learn and know you.
So in a different lane.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say in a different lane because I've always known you.
Yeah.
But I've never knew you as my husband. And everything prior really didn't count.
Yeah.
You know, it gave me insight to who you would be as a husband, but not necessarily who you are as a husband, if that made sense.
Facts.
So within the last, 11 months, I've been learning you and learning how to be a wife to you.
Yeah.
So nothing really has changed since the previous, except that we are married. But I am getting ready to transition to other things, career-wise within our marriage. So I'm pretty excited about the things that are to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Houston, Texas, the episode will look a little differently in the upcoming episodes because T. Melly actually hit me, and this is just a tangent for some of you who are wondering. Episode 17, we didn't have a visual. It was so hot outside that the camera stopped working out at the Shrine of the Black Madonna. And so we only did it audio-wise, which is on SoundCloud and iTunes. But after episode 17, T. Melly hit me, and she was like, hey, I need to take a little break. And I can understand that from, going and being back in school, being a new mother and stuff like that, being a wife, walking into their second year of marriage. So I told her, just hold your head. And by the time you get back, we should be at a different platform. You understand what I mean? So
she's done an amazing job.
Yeah. T. Melly, is a trooper. Yeah. Everybody needs, in business, everybody needs that type of a teammate.
Shout out.
What up, Melly? What up? But this past 11 months with you, I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about you. I learned a lot about us. And what definitely what you can achieve as a couple. That
is true.
And not to get too much into our business, but sometimes as a man, we kind of think that we know it all. And we have, under your guidance and under your knowledge, we've been able to successfully make advances in our relationship, in our marriage, whether
financially.
It be financially. Yeah. So that has afforded me the opportunity to do this podcast at the level that I want to do it and take it to.
So let's talk about that.
Go ahead.
So I had a coworker. Her name was Stella, and prior to getting married, I was working a lot of overtime and
facts.
Just
preparing facts, men out there
for
facts.
The wedding. And one thing that a lot of nurses have is a lot of student loan debts. Unless you are blessed with, opportunity to be able to go to school, whether it be on some type of full scholarship or some type of partnership with the company or a hospital, a lot of nurses come out with student loan debt. And so she knew that I was having this wedding, and we were talking about it, and she, not necessarily prying or anything, she mentioned this guy named Dave Ramsey. And she said that her and her husband had done Dave Ramsey in the past, and they modified it to be whatever they needed for their family or whatever. So she was just like, hey, Dave Ramsey. So I was like, right now I ain't really talking about no student loan debt. I'm trying to have this wedding. I'm trying to make this money. And then after we got married, JR's best man stayed here at the apartment.
Yeah, what up, Josh?
While we went to the hotel, or we stayed at the hotel, and when we came back, or before we got ready to go for the honeymoon, we had to make a stop here at the apartment, and his gift to us was here at the apartment. And it also was the Dave Ramsey book, which Stella talked about, and she also let me borrow, and I was just like, okay, Lord, I hear you. So on our honeymoon,
a honeymoon when you're supposed to be connecting as man and wife,
right?
Honey and mooning. She got this book and reading this book.
So on our honeymoon, I cracked it open and I got addicted to the things that were in there, and it was just like, live like no one else so that you can live like no one else.
Facts.
And so I was intrigued and excited about it, but I wasn't yet ready to really just commit to what he calls dumping debt. And so then after the honeymoon, I kept reading the book, but I kind of stopped when I realized, okay, this is something that we really need to do. So I downloaded some apps. I listened to some podcasts. And so I think it was like a New Year's resolution. I came to JR and I was like, hey, and this is not to put our business out there, but we're going to be transparent because maybe we can help another couple.
Facts.
So I was like, hey, you got this credit card debt. I got these student loan debt, yet alone I have credit card debt and all this other stuff. Let's try to get rid of 30 grand of debt.
In 2018.
In 2018. So starting January 1, we kind of put a plan together. We made some budgets. That's one thing that I, growing up, did not see my parents do, was manage money in the sense of budgeting and, you know, checking balances and checking checkbooks. I'm sure that they tried, or I'm sure that they did privately, but just openly, I didn't see that. So that was something new for me. And so one of the things, and I'm going to make this real quick. I'm going to
baby, we got time.
One of the things that we did.
Talk that talk.
When I go to a little small church, and one of the things as a building fund is that we created a thermometer. And that thermometer was like a visual to say, okay, hey, we have this goal. And as we make way to our goal, we highlight it and we show. And so that's what I did. I got a piece of, what was it? Construction board that you get at Walmart for like 59 cents. And I made a thermometer and everything was marked by 5,000, I think. And so we set a goal to do 30,000 by the end of the year. And sure enough, we're on our goal. No credit card debt.
No credit card debt. That's a big thing.
That's a big thing.
Big thing.
So.
Well, we don't have like outstanding credit card debt. We have like, you know.
We just had credit card debt. We just had store card debt.
Yeah, that's all been erased. Yeah. But I'm talking about in terms of when you say debt free with credit cards, we have like just a running balance, like $30-some or so, something that you can pay, that you can pay like then and there. So what we did zero all of our credit cards out. Facts.
We did pay things to a zero balance.
Facts.
But then there is stuff like a Netflix account, little small stuff, because
Apple Music.
Still you still want to use that credit card. So to anyone out there who is trying to manage debt and to dump their debt, it is possible. I think that is one of the plus of a 2 household income. I was definitely grateful for that because since I graduated from my first degree, I've always been trying to pay student loans off and pay debt off. And I mean, just to have the support of somebody to keep you guys, I'm sorry.
Look, the house got to be fresh, man. When you walk into a freshly sprayed house, it's a beautiful thing.
I don't know. But it does smell good though. But that's one of the benefits of having a partner, to having someone that's like-minded, but also to being able to say, let's set this goal and also achieve it. So hopefully at some point JR can come back before the end of the year to say that we met our goal. And even if we haven't, we as a couple have learned how to work toward a goal together. In common.
Facts. Yeah. So, I'll piggyback on that. I think that, like, just seeing the success, because I realized from the inception of that idea, I know that initially I wasn't on board with it. And I thought that, like that goes back to what I was saying about, being a man. Sometimes you feel that the way you've been doing it for the longest will work, even when you start out on a new endeavor, right? Mm-hmm. So initially I was kind of hesitant, like, I know that I can make it work. I know I can do this. So I didn't fully take your advice on that. But when I gradually started to make that change and say, you know what, let me give this a shot, maybe she knows what she's talking about. Because initially I started to read the book as well. And I'm I will go on record and say I'm not a strong reader. Mm-hmm. So I read the book and a lot of the stories seemed kind of unbelievable to me. A lot of them were just like, well, I did this and I did this. And, we from Houston, ladies and gentlemen. For the people watching in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Florida, Michigan, Cali, everywhere. We're from Houston, Texas. And a lot of people move down here because of the real estate that we have down here, right?
Mm-hmm. The cost of living, even though if you live here in Houston, you feel like the cost of living has skyrocketed. Actually, for those who either live on either coast, we have a really, really great cost of living. So you have a lot of baby boomers who are retiring. You have a lot of people who are in the tech industry who may work in San Francisco, but they live here in Texas. Or those who, like I said, just live in, you've lived in New York in an apartment that you could have had a nice home, with a front and backyard.
Facts.
So, and then oil and gas in the medical center has done Houston in particularly so well. And then agriculture in Texas, period, to the point to where Texas is attractable and people are moving down here in droves.
Yeah. So what I was saying was along the lines of I was talking about real estate and hold on, where was I? My fault. I was talking about just I forgot my point. You remember where I was?
This happens all the time.
Oh. So I was talking about just following along the lines of following the plan with you, right?
Let's start there.
Let's start right there. Okay, so if it comes back to me, it comes back to me. But anyway, so in following the plan, everything from that has manifested. So this podcast has manifested from that. Or being able to, and I guess what I was saying earlier was I was extremely grateful when I finally came on board and started to see the results. Whereas I'm not, tilt that glass a little bit, love.
Oh.
Tilt the glass a little bit.
I don't drink much.
So when I finally was on board and I realized, okay, well, this plan that you have is working, right? I started to see, well, I'm able to, whereas I was paying that $45, $90, $100 to that credit card, now I could take it and invest it in the Visionary Movements LLC. And it started to open up other doors for me as well, this podcast being one. So I circle it all around to say, I'm extremely appreciative of that fact of being able to, one, swallow pride, take advice, follow a game plan that wasn't necessarily generated from me, right? And then see how it manifested into other things.
Well, thank you.
Okay. I was going to say, I said, I'm giving you props on the podcast.
I appreciate it.
Come on,
but
come on, man.
I was going to come back with, I'm a practical person. And
Facts.
I can think things through. And I believe in a plan. And I think we had a conversation once before as far as, you'll hear me guys reference nursing a lot. I actually love it.
Yeah.
You got to have a plan, and then you also have to look at a patient, see where they are, and then look at whatever their comorbidities are or the reason why they're in the hospital. Look at the medications that they're taking, and then kind of not necessarily predict, but kind of have an idea of where you're going. So, like, to get back to it, I'm a practical person as far as if I put a plan together, I'm kind of going to predict and I'm going to foresee, okay, if we do this, this could possibly happen. So that's just one of the things that I've led on, but I believe that we both have leadership qualities. I don't know if I said it in my vows or if we just had a conversation one time. I'm not here to walk behind you. I'm not here to walk in front of you. I'm here to walk beside you.
Facts.
And so, if there are things that I believe that I can lead or that I can steer us in the right direction, by all means, just as I'm willing to work with you and follow you and help you through whatever it is that you might want to obtain. So this is just one of the things that.
So going back to the thermostat.
Okay.
So that's one of the points when I talk to some of my homeboys on the phone. I say I might lead off in the conversation. They're like, yo, how you feeling? And I'm like, man, I'm blessed. And I say I'm blessed because of the fact that, when that pressure of debt is not weighing down on you as much as it used to. See, before marriage, I always had this idea, well, I can sacrifice a whole check. I can go broke for 2 weeks and just pay something off. yet it was never happening.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was never happening. And so what would end up happening was you would just continue to pay the minimum, and that's how they sucker you in and keep you there. You would continue to pay the minimum, and you wouldn't make no advances because you would pay the minimum but also spend more than you paid before, right?
So your balance is steady.
So the balance is steadily increasing, but it wasn't until fully investing in that plan that I began to see the debt just dissipate. It just vanished, and I was like, man, I couldn't have done it without you. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I just, any advice to any recently married, been married for a while, not that we are just the best at the advice, but it sometimes men can follow.
Yes, y'all can.
Sometimes men can follow. Sometimes. I mean, it ain't always easy.
Everybody marriage is different.
Everybody
marriage is different, but I think that we are 50-50 as far as
facts.
Despite what people may think or despite people ideas, it's a 50-50. It's respect. It's okay. But to answer your question, let me not get off on that. But to answer your question, I think the biggest thing that couples need to realize, whether you are we are 11 months in the game.
Well, listen, we 11 months in the game, but a little bit about us.
Hold on, let's answer this question.
Okay, go ahead, because I'm gonna piggyback.
Whether you are 11 months in the game or you have been married 11 years or if you've been married for 50 years, the biggest thing that I have come to realize is the true definition and the meaning of compromise. And although JR was not on board initially, and I keep looking at this area because, guys, this is where the thermostat is. It's posted up on our refrigerator, and I keep looking at it to say, okay, damn, we did we doing that.
Yeah.
But anywho, although JR was not on board initially, I can be pretty stubborn. So
go ahead.
In my stubbornness, I was like, yo, no, this is what this is account for. This is what this money for. And in a way, after he started to compromise, to say, you know what, kids, I can invest into this. So
Facts.
I think that the biggest thing that couples, whether young or old, have to realize is that I may not get what I want, or you may not get what you want, but if you can give me just a little bit and I give you just a little bit of what you want, we can meet each other in the middle, and you can accomplish some stuff. You can get some shit done.
Facts.
The truth of the matter.
I kind of want to jump all over the place with it, but this is exactly why. You see, my whole purpose in life now, right, is to make.
Can I say shit?
Yeah, baby, go ahead.
Okay,
We grown ups. My whole purpose in life is to make people creative, and is to show people that they are creative and they can do it. So, this information that you're divulging, right? You know what? Let me just go back to this next point. That's for another nugget. But you said something about a plan, right? And we've had conversations before where it was like, all right, well, maybe 6 months in, we were talking about how does it feel, right? Did you ever think that you would be at this point at 6 months, right? Follow me on this one. And you mentioned something about a plan, and I realized that, just to add in another segment about this, not necessarily a segment, but just to add in another nugget. So we are going on a year, right? We're at right under 11 months. We're going on a year, but we've been together for a long haul, long enough for one of us to attain a professional license, both of us actually, and then long enough for us to, have grown up together. Like some people get married 2 years, a month, 6 months, 10 years, it doesn't matter. But we went to high school together, right? And we rekindled our
Class 03.
Class 03.
Yeah.
From where?
Booker T. Washington.
Booker T. Washington High School, and the high school.
And the high school for the engineering professions.
Not for the, but for it is for the. Okay, for the engineering. Yeah. For the
high school.
The high school for engineering professions. Yeah,
there
that's
you
what
go.
That's what it is. Right. Shout
HSEP. Otherwise, you either was downstairs.
Oh Lord.
Or upstairs.
Okay. You know, somebody hit me the other day and was like, I don't even know him. He was upstairs, and I kind of took that as an insult, not to knock my class and not to knock the school that I went to, because at the end of the day, I was only at Booker T because of the magnet program,
Absolutely.
right? But you know that
something about them downstairs.
Yeah. Well, you were down there. I was checking for you in the 10th grade. But you know what? Sometimes men out there, you got to, grow a little bit, gain a little weight, grow a beard. You know what I mean?
Beard. Oh my God.
You got to grow a beard. Don't talk about high school days. Well, don't. Yeah, I do remember. I do remember that.
Side note, we were out celebrating Dawn's birthday.
Shout out to Dawn Brown. What's up, Dawn and Jermaine? What's up, Hunter?
Yes. We were celebrating Dawn's birthday, and Dawn and I, some kind of reason, I don't know why I was at Dawn. Dawn's parents had went on vacation, and Dawn was at the house by herself. But it was her birthday weekend. We met up with Jay Washington, and
shout out to us. This is Booker T. Washington we talking about.
It's crazy that I remember Jay, but we went to some club, and of course
downtown.
We was, and then Dawn had this one song by what's the man from Ursha? What it do? Shout it.
You talk about Lord.
What y'all know about her?
Yeah. You talking about?
So Dawn would go crazy. Oh, I'm sorry.
Baby.
Dawn would go crazy on that song. She just get into her mood.
The mic right there to help you. Just
Hello?
lower your voice a little bit.
Oh my bad. That's what happens when you talk about good memories. So even though that's a side note that Dawn was cutting up on Bad Girl, that was the name of
it. That's it. Confessions.
And, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Club was over, 2:00, feet hurting. We walking back to Dawn's car, and I hear somebody call my name, and I was like, "What? I ain't get my number out tonight."
So what happened was, I think Phil. I was rocking with Phil that night.
Yeah,
I was I remember I was in a gray tee, and we were leaving the club. I don't know if we were at the same club you were at, but we were leaving the club, and Phil went and got the car because we were had been drinking. We were kind of out of there.
So we had already at least said, "Hey, what's up?" And then Phil went to
we
go
bumped
get your
into
car.
you. We bumped. Oh yeah, that's what it was.
No.
That's what it was.
Me and Dawn and I. Let me try to speak correctly. We're walking to Dawn's car, and I just heard, "Hey, Kizzie," and I was like,
"Oh, here you go."
What?
Yeah.
I ain't get my number out tonight. Yeah. Like, what's really good?
Here you go.
And so you was like, "Kizzie," and I was like, "What? Who is this?" And I did not recognize your boy. Like, I was like,
I had the thin chin strap, the Lloyd Banks chin strap.
So when he came up closer, JR, I don't know if he just kind of like,
your boy was feeling the shirt a little bit.
Yeah, the shirt was a little tight.
I was feeling the shirt a little bit. I was in the weight room, let me fix my posture a little bit. I was in the weight room a little bit.
Yeah, and he had on this little V-neck shirt or whatever.
No, it wasn't a V-neck. It was a crew neck.
Okay,
it was crew neck.
Scoop neck is all right. But the thing was, when I spoke to him, I was like,
yeah, she was.
JR?
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was touching. She was, touching. You know what I'm saying?
I was like, JR?
Won't keep it PG. But
yeah, that was the end of it. He wouldn't let me leave until I gave him my number.
Yeah, I got her number that night, and that's when we were. That's
10 times in one sentence.
Oh my God! And that's where we reconnected at that point.
Yeah, and then we were friends for 2 years.
So
2 years solid.
It wasn't 2 years. That was
2008.
What was that?
We did not start dating until 2010.
Correct. That's fact.
So
that's
we
fact.
were friends
for a while.
He was in that friend zone chilling
for a while. But so let's go back to a plan, right? So I think I was telling my homegirl Kimberly Celestine. You know Kimberly. She's one of your sorors. I was telling Kimberly that the reason why it took me so long, it wasn't necessarily that. See, for me, ladies and gentlemen, Houston, Texas, and the United States of America, for me, when Kizzie gave me that spot,
who?
Kizzie, I'm sorry. I ain't leaning a little bit. I'm nice. I'm all right.
You sure?
I'm sure. But when Kizzie gave me that,
my name.
when Kizzie gave me that when she opened the door, like I told everybody, this is the woman. You know, some men know this is the woman that I want to marry before it actually even comes up, right? So I spent the whole while in our relationship, just trying to make sure it stayed. And I was telling Kimberly that I didn't have a plan in terms of, like, all I saw was like we're together finally. I get this fairy tale that I've been wanting for a long time, dating back to high school. I get this fairy tale, but I don't have a plan in terms of moving forward, because eventually, you said it. You said it once before. My clock is winding. It's winding. It's winding. It's winding. It's winding.
It was winding.
So I didn't have a plan, right? And so talk about your plan. How did you plan? I guess, how did you plan out the fact of getting married and that day eventually coming? Because when we used to talk, you used to say that you didn't want to get married in the beginning. Oh. Okay. So how did you formulate? How did you eventually come to that point where you wanted to get married? So,
yeah, I guess I have to be a little transparent, but for whatever reason that I wish not to go into, I just didn't want to get married. Mm-hmm. I saw myself as the loving aunt. I will love on my nieces and nephews, but I just didn't want to deal with having to be committed. I had a big phobia and a big commitment issue, and of course it stemmed from a broken relationship, or that I was a late bloomer and everything, but even as a kid, like, I can remember conversations with my mom and my aunts, and I was like, I ain't having no kids. And my mom was like, well, I'm gonna write this date down to remind you. And the biggest thing is, this is why I didn't want to get married, and this is why I didn't want to have kids, was because I had my mom, and I don't know if it's true, but I've heard other people mention it about this middle child syndrome thing or whatever, where you kind of feel left out. You just get pushed and shuffled along. You never really get this attention that you think you deserve, yada, yada, yada. But when you find someone that shatters all the negative, when you find someone who can labor in love with you to show you that there is someone out there to love you regardless of if your hair is combed, regardless if your breath stink, regardless if you have money, if you have debt, if you have some flaws and some insecurities, and I'm going to help repair them, and I'm going to help you get to where you need to be, then that's when you start looking at life a little bit different. Then that's when you can be like, oh, well, I might need to hold on to him, because this is somebody who has invested in me. This is someone who I can see myself with. And me personally, this is someone, when things get bad, he just don't run. Before me and JR actually got into a relationship, I had some devastating news. But JR loved me through that. And he was in the friend zone. And it wasn't like a love of, oh, I'm trying to do this to get with you. It was like, yo, I'm here for you. I got you. Don't even stress over it. Like, right now, I'm going to cook you this spaghetti with these Zumo sausages.
Zumo.
But I got you. You know what I mean? And to me, it was like, okay. To me, it was like a breath of fresh air, because I go back to the middle child syndrome, and you can ask my mom or my dad. I kind of just went through life and made some decisions on my own. Like, of course, my mom and them would sign my permission slips, but just like with boys, and am I going to go to school here, or am I going to major in this? Am I going to do? I kind of had to make those decisions on my own. And so for a while, it was just me, and I had my family. Don't get it twisted. I love my mama. I love my daddy. I love my siblings. But sometimes I just felt like, okay, Kizzie, you got to make this decision. What's up? So when I came across this situation to where I was just like, damn, JR held me down. He was there, and it was platonic. It was strictly, yo, cast your cares on me, so to speak. Like, I got you. Don't worry. And even leaving his house that night, I felt so relieved, and I was just like, you know, maybe JR is more than just my best friend at the moment. So, moving forward, having a plan. I think that a plan is so instrumental. And speaking of plan, what was your question?
So your plan for marriage. Your plan for marriage.
So my plan for marriage. Are you talking about like? To be honest, I didn't have one.
So, for example, you know, I used to say to you all the time that you made Jesus real for me. You know, I used to say,
Lord.
I used to say it all the time because, you know, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, man. And I'm gonna keep it 100 with Houston, Texas, where we from.
I really wasn't trying to drink this, but okay.
I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all, man. There were some times where in every relationship it gets rocky. You know, it gets to the point where it's just like, shall I persevere? Shall I continue? This person is not fulfilling what I want him or her to do, right?
Where are you going with this?
I'm gonna explain, right? And so every relationship, without getting too gory, every relationship goes through that struggle, right?
So true.
So, you know, of course, with that struggle comes separation. Absolutely. With that struggle comes a lot of isolation. You have to figure you out, better yourself off to be better for somebody else. Mm-hmm. And I remember at the time, shout out to my homegirl Angela Pamela, right? She did.
She got two first names.
Well, first middle, Perez something. You know, the Hispanic culture use both mom and dad.
Pamela, like that's the first last name.
Yeah. So she suggested that we go to this church back in the day, right? And I remember being in the church, and I remember just getting down on hands and knees, and I remember praying and saying, Lord, fix everything for me. Mm-hmm. What do I need to do? Mm-hmm. And so this goes back to not having a plan. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have a plan on how I wanted to marry you, although I knew all along that you were the woman that I had been praying for from previous relationships, from mishaps in relationships, from just being with, I wouldn't say the wrong person. I wouldn't say the wrong person. I would just say the person that God, the person that God hadn't sent to you, just being with that person. That's deep. So I was on hands and knees, right? And I had asked God, look, just tell me what I got to do. Tell me what I have to do, right? What do I need to do to be able to make it work, not only for myself, but to have this woman that I desire so much, right? And that was the day that I started paying tithes. And shortly after that, you know, it doesn't come like the next day, but I was just like, I'm gonna just let it go. Because you know, you grew up in the church, which we've established and which we've talked about personally. I kind of grew up in a church where everybody knew your parents, everybody knew where your parents were from, everybody knew where your parents met, everybody knew you. Small. Yeah, a small church, right, in the tray. But when my mom worked on weekends, we didn't go. My dad would take us to McGregor Park. My dad would buy us, he would buy us McDonald's. He would like in our family, we always had that restaurant night on Fridays when my mom worked. And so I say that to say this. As I aged and got more mature, I started going to church more, and I started paying tithes, and I started to see everything fall in order. I started to see everything come like this plan that I never had started to formulate. It started to formulate. And so, you know, I just accredit that one to you again for, you know, meeting you, coming in contact with you and getting to know you when we got back together as friends and seeing how it was that Sundays was devoted straight to the Lord. It was nothing else. Oh, yeah. Even to this day, we're married. You know what I'm saying? We are married, and Sundays goes to the Lord.
Sunday we are gonna blast some 90.9 KTSU. We gonna blast. I have a gospel
hold on.
playlist.
Wait, gospel playlist, but KTSU is Houston, so we can say that.
Yeah.
We can say let's not get no further. Some KTSU, let's keep it H-Town.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying we have a playlist, so it will get hooked up to the Samsung soundbar, and we gonna blast it, and we gonna let these people know that we're Christians.
Yeah.
So with that being said, let me put a disclaimer. I don't hold any grudges, or I don't discriminate, or I don't have any issues with any other religion. However, Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior.
My Lord and Savior too.
And without a relationship with Him, we
probably wouldn't
have nothing.
Yeah, we wouldn't,
at this moment, I just want to give honor to Him, because I know that this marriage is ordained by God.
Amen.
Because my story is the day that JR proposed.
Ooh, your boy, I don't listen Houston, Texas. I never thought that I had OCD. Sorry, I said ODC. That's a little league park in Houston, Texas. I never thought I had OCD. But the day that I proposed, I was so nervous.
Yeah. Okay.
I was so nervous. Go ahead.
When JR proposed, maybe for about a month, I had been plotting some stuff. I was just like,
No, you know what, baby? Keep it a buck with him. Keep it a buck with him.
I'm finna keep it 100.
Tell him.
So, I had finally finished nursing school.
Nah, that wasn't no.
Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
To where I was comfortable, where life was good.
Yeah.
But our relationship was kind of
I was still HISD bussing at the time. Yeah, I was still,
But we'll
John
get to
Jack.
that. We'll get to that at the moment. Where our life was good. Like, I'm a nurse, and I'm about a year or two in. And I left the little old dump that I was living in. And I had moved on up to the east side, to the apartment in the sky.
The east side, for all my people in New York and New Jersey, for us would be going downtown. That would be going downtown from all outskirts of the city, inside the city. We're in the loop now. Go ahead, baby.
So my plan was, I'm going to move into this new apartment.
Facts.
And I'm going to break up with him. I'm about to let him go. Because he wasted my time. We having issues. We just can't see eye to eye. And to be honest, my life is looking pretty good, So the day that JR proposed, I was laying on my couch. And I prayed. I was like, Lord, give me the strength. Why I'm closing my eyes like I'm praying now?
Sometimes it just call you. Sometimes it call you.
Man.
Go ahead.
I was like, Lord, just give me the strength to cut ties and, say my piece and be able to break up with this man, because, I'm ready to move on, and I'm ready to be single, and I'm ready to, figure it out. Well,
Mingle.
Not necessarily that nobody was on the radar, so not necessarily mingle, but it was just like, this has run its course, because we had been 6 years in the game.
Boyfriend
and so,
for a while.
I'm like, give me the strength. That's what I needed, was strength, just so I could say it, because JR is like a 90s R&B song.
Oh, yeah. You play that, man, and it just gets you right. Like, it gets you right, man. Go ahead.
JR is like a 90s R&B song when, when things is rocky. So I needed strength. I needed divine strength. And I was like, Lord, if this relationship is for me, I just need you to show me some sign. Why your boy walk in and was like, hey, can we come out on the balcony?
Man, let me tell you how I walked in, though. The park downstairs in the new crib that, this goes back to moving on up to the east side. She moving from outside the city limits. Well, not necessarily outside the city limits.
Moved right down the street.
She moved right down the street into the loop, right? And so I pull up. I went and got the ring. It was put into the setting. I went and got the ring, and I pull up, and I'm inside the garage. I parked the car, and I'm so nervous. I'm walking up to the elevator, and I take my socks and shoes off on the outside. Like, I'm in the garage. I came in barefooted, and everybody that know me know that I don't be outside with my feet out.
This boy hate his feet.
I don't be outside walking on the concrete with my feet on the concrete. I don't do none of that. But for this day, I did it, right? And I was nervous. I know because not only could you feel it, but I could feel it too. Okay. The conversations were different.
Yeah.
Our energies were different. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you waking and I mean, I'm not gonna get too further into it, but it was just different. The time, the atmosphere, the feel, the energy was off. It was different. So I said to myself, you know, when the energy is off and you're trying to fix everything, you start to do things that are uncharacteristic. Like initially, I wanted to take you to an Astros game.
Oh yeah.
And the Astros weren't playing anybody that you knew. They were playing the Reds. No knock to Ohio, no knock to Cincinnati Reds, but they were playing the Reds that day. I remember it. And I was going to put it on a jumbo screen and, you know.
Some movie type shit.
Yeah, I'm an actor. You know what I'm saying? But this wasn't no acting moment, though. Right? There was no coming back from this later on in the film. But I was just nervous. And so I remember walking up to the elevator. I got in there, and all the while I'm still barefooted, and you know, I'm just like, man. So I walk in, and I'm just like, hey, let's go out on the balcony, and go ahead.
I was laying on the couch. I had to work that night because I work nights, and he was like, let's go on the balcony. And I was like, why? It's hot outside. It's June. It's scorching. And he was like, let's just go out on the balcony. So, of course, I reluctantly go out on the balcony. And so I think he tried to propose to me then. And I was like, wait, no, stop. And so I was like, yo, we got to come inside because this is burning up.
No, that's not what happened.
No?
That's not what happened. So what happened was...
Oh, I think you tried to get down on one knee.
I got down one knee, and you was just like, what? You was just like, stop playing. What you doing? She was like, stop playing, what you doing? And then she walked inside, and I'm just like, I'm trying to propose.
Yeah, I just messed it all up.
And then I come inside, and I get down, and I say...
No, I tell you, do it again.
Do it again.
I was like, do it again. But the thing was, JR and I had a running joke that if he ever tried to propose, I was just going to get down on the knees, too, and start praying. But... I messed it up. I must be honest. Like, ladies out there, keep your nails done. If you think that your fiance or your boo at the time is because my nails was jacked up, my hair was all over my head.
But this goes back to what you were saying about loving you at your worst or loving at you despite everything.
So, and to be honest, it was JR and Kizzie's fashion.
Yeah. Because I'm glad you said that because it was one of those things where it was like, you know, you wanted to invite people, you want to, you know, have. See, I think the benefit of all of it unfolding was the fact that you do work overnight. Right. And so I was able to take your parents out to dinner. Yeah. I was able to tell my mother that I was going to do it. Yeah. I was able to just organize everything without you getting wind of it, right?
Yeah. That's true.
And so, you know, the way we kick it, man, is like nobody really knows what we do. We're always secluded.
And
we're
a
always
lot of
like,
that is me because I'm very private. This here right here is me being very open and transparent because I just don't. I think I get it from my daddy. Well, hey. We just don't talk about it.
Houston, Texas,
we get
man.
It done, you know.
Houston, Texas,
you
man.
know, life goes on. That's one of the things that my dad used to tell us as a kid. And for some people,
open
it's
your eyes,
like,
baby.
oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Listen, this is new for me. But when some people hear life goes on, it's like, okay, life goes on and what? Yeah. Or man, you ain't got nothing else to add to that. But to me, that's like a statement from Albert Einstein because life does go on.
It comes from, what you're saying is it came from a genius.
Hey, a genius. You know, people always trying to quote somebody, quote Clarence Farmer, the senior.
Clarence Eugene Farmer Sr.
Yeah, life goes on. And to me, personally, whenever we did riffs or whenever we had issues, every now and then I might discuss with one or two people, but of course they're gonna get the skeleton version of it. They're not gonna get any details.
They don't never really get all the facts. They don't ever
No, not facts, but I don't ever just fully give them
everything.
what's going on.
Yeah.
They're gonna get facts.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to just be like, oh well, this is what happened and this is why this is happening and da da da. I just think that some of our things that we go through should be private, and
Facts.
we eventually gonna figure it out.
Eventually.
But to say the least, life goes on. But JR mentioned something that I want to go back and touch on, which was the Kizzie, that it was Kizzie. Well, I think I said that it was Kizzie and JR's fashion. If he would have tried to propose to me at an Astros game, he would have got denied because that's just not me. Like, that was his vision. And so one of the things that we did when we engaged or were we married, when we read the 5 languages of love, 5 love languages.
We were engaged.
So I encourage every individual who's married, whether you are, like I said, starting out new or starting out old, to go and read that book. Because
I was gonna say, baby, you giving free promo. Like these kids, these guys don't, you know.
Well, I'm only giving advice that work for us.
Facts.
Now you can go and read this book and you'll be like, this is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
But that book helped us out as far as to realize how to speak each other love language. Like, I'm not an Astros fan. Like, go buy me a pair of YSL, go buy me some Gucci's, go buy me some. Don't spend your money on no Megatron because I ain't feeling it.
And by the way, Houston, Texas, when you hear that last statement a few minutes before what I'm talking about now, you can go. What episode was that? You can go to the vlog tab on the website, visionarymovements.com vlog. And you can see the episode where I was at the Christian Louboutin store buying Kizzie her birthday gift.
Absolutely. Buy me some stuff. Like, you want to show me you love me? That's my language.
Well, listen.
And it's nothing. And the thing is, it's not that it has to be expensive, but to me, it needs to be thoughtful.
Yeah. Facts.
Like, JR and I, we have conversation, and I'm like, okay, I hear you. And then I go and buy something, and he'd be like, why you buy that?
You talking about me or you talking about you?
Talking about you. Oh, yeah. And so I had to learn his language.
Jesus.
Like, JR does not like gifts like that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's starting to change a little bit, y'all. He's starting to ask for outrageous stuff.
Yeah, hold on now. But yeah, wrap up what you were saying because I want to tell you something else.
Oh, so I was just saying that pretty much in getting to this last little statement, going to the Megatron and trying to propose to me.
That would have been...
He probably would have got a no.
Would you have said no if I did it in front of your friends?
No.
Okay.
But I probably would have been like, yo,
what are you doing?
What is this?
Yeah.
Like, I would have pulled, let's go to the bathroom real quick.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I'm very private. I think that it saves our marriage, because if we both was blasting on social media, and if we both were just super affectionate, I think it'll just be overkill.
Yeah.
But it's who we are.
Yeah. We are who we are. We are who we are in this world. But yeah, man, I just, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that well, I love this woman.
Oh, I love you too.
I love this woman, and I would be lying if I said that I see other couples, Jay-Z, Beyonce, and just other couples in society, and think, yo, that could be us in terms of just sharing the same platform. But I think that our strongest suit is that we have different, we like different things. Mm-hmm. So, our belief in Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Keeps us because whenever we have an argument, we'll have the argument, and then we go within our own Christian walks, and we're able to say, you know what, well, what would Jesus do, or we're able to just pray it out. You know what I mean? But I just want to, we're coming on some time in the podcast. This is what I want. Let's talk about something else, y'all.
Right,
We're gonna come. We gonna
So I just got some really good news in this text message, y'all.
Wait, time out. Baby, you can't say that. And I'll tell you later on why you can't. You can't say that. Hold on. You can't say that because remember what I told you earlier.
What's that?
What I told you earlier. Hold on right quick. Hold on, Houston, Texas. Hold on.
No, come on.
No. Hold on.
Keep it rolling.
Hold on. I gotta pause it. I gotta pause it right quick. I gotta pause it right quick. Hold on. Yeah, I just had to talk to her. Hold on, I just had to talk to her right quick. Oh, okay. I just had you. Sometimes everything can't be public, Houston, Texas. I just had to talk to her right quick. But
sorry.
listen. So this is Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And I don't have to work tomorrow, which is Monday, right?
Okay. I'm
off.
But
you're off, so we'll just be chilling together, loving each other, right? But this past weekend, and not to did you hear the Eminem diss to Joe Budden?
No.
Okay. Well, we don't really even need to get into it.
We don't.
But I'm gonna tell you this: I'm riding with Joey.
Me too, cause he black.
Well, that's it then. Okay, so all right, so
Put everything on black.
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
Hey,
so,
you know what? I'm at the point to where no diss to Eminem, because when Eminem first came out, we were like, oh, he's the black white rapper or whatever the case.
I thought he was black at first when I first heard him.
I have no qualms with Eminem. However, I'm at the point to where it is so much stuff that is being projected about black individuals.
Hold on. Okay.
That it's negative to the point to where I can't even fight with you no more. I'm not even gonna try to go back and forth with you to say this is who we are. So now I'm at the point to where I just want to uplift whatever is in my community.
Facts.
And so therefore, if it's against Eminem versus Joe Budden, Team Joe.
Listen,
so it's to the point to where now I'm just going. Oh, I can't. Okay.
Well,
I'm just gonna ride.
Well, this is the thing. I also forgot to say, in the intro, we had the intro earlier. I forgot to say happy birthday to him because he's on the 31st as well, Joe Budden.
Okay, happy birthday, Joe.
So, but anyway, let's move along a little bit. But this is what I wanted to tell you, and I'm glad that you were here to share this news with me. I'm glad to be able to share this news on the podcast with the love of my life. But this is not us. This is something more directed to the company. But in the fourth quarter, we will be having our app drop.
Yeah.
So our app will be available on iTunes and on the Play Store for Android users as well. And it's just a method to loosen up the marketing aspect of it all. You know what I mean? As an independent artist, we have to market to everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We have to continue. Like I have, even you, I send you. I'm doing an episode, but I still send it to you, right? And so hopefully, with the app dropping in the fourth quarter, that's when we usually have said that we, Jay-Z said we might Jordan them in the fourth quarter, right? So. With that app dropping, it's gonna alleviate some of the having to be repetitive to the people that are just like, yo, would you stop texting me? You know what I'm saying? So go ahead. Would you stop texting? I had a coworker
to be like, husband. But that's okay. I love her to death, and I was appreciative that she told me versus trying to talk to somebody else. But this is what I would say as far as the app goes. Everybody at some point wants support.
Yeah.
And I know that you're always putting out your hashtags and you're saying, hey, support me. Granted, you may not be in the trenches of starting up a new business, or you may not be an entrepreneur.
Facts.
However, you will, or you may have a kid that you want me to buy some Girl Scout cookies from.
Facts.
Or you may have a son who's about to get ready to play Little League and they trying to sell whatever it is to fundraise and do whatever. So I personally, just go out and support. Even if you just download the app and, download it.
Just download
Just download it. Show your support. And the thing is this. We are a community. We are a community of one. Said. And I'm not looking for others to support you. And it's not a diss. Like, don't get it twisted. It's not a diss by any shape, mean, or fashion. It's just that I believe that we are at a point to where we have to come together as a unit.
Facts.
And I'm going to say this and then I'm going to move. There was one talk show host who made this comment once before about black people, and he said, if you have one, you can fight one. You can knock one out. But when you get a group of them, he's like, it's no way to beat a group. So granted, visionary movements, LLC, maybe you don't understand, or maybe you're not into podcasts, or but there's somebody that who's trying to get into a podcast, or there's somebody that who listens to podcasts. There are some people who choose talk radio versus watching TV. So just pass it out. Just share, and share. That's little work to like and share. Yeah. So that's my shameless plug for my husband and his company.
Oh, I love you, baby.
Oh, I love you too.
What else, man? What's going on? What else? So, why did you choose nursing? Why did you choose nursing?
Why did I choose nursing? It started out from, I was working at this company who I was just like trying to live like a baller. And I was not making a baller amount of money. I was definitely on a budget, and I was robbing Peter to pay Paul. And so a part of it was we had nurses there, and the nurses just seemed to be living life. And we were putting in just as much work, we were putting in just as much work to work with these patients. However, we were not getting the pay. And so I just talked with the nurse, and she definitely gave me the encouragement to go out and pursue. And she made it, and she told me, she was like, look, if you don't like this aspect of nursing, there's this aspect. If you don't like this aspect, there's this aspect. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do nursing. No, there are no nurses in my family.
No, you got one.
Who?
Astria.
Oh, yeah. She was going through nursing school at the time.
Okay.
Or she was considering. This is when I'm considering.
Oh, okay.
And I think she had just finished if then or whatever. But, yes, I do. My sister-in-law, she's a nurse.
What up, Astria?
And so I talked with this nurse, and she was like, and it gives you an opportunity to a good life, you know. Not strong with numbers, but I can count my money. Not strong with numbers, but I can count my money.
Oh,
I can count some dominoes too. So, I went and looked at the curriculum for a nurse, and I was like, you know what, bet. So for a year straight, I did the summer. No, I started with like the winter short season or whatever, like the 2-year. Then I did a full semester. Then I did a full summer, first and second. And then I think I did maybe Christmas short. I went to school year round. When I got my tax return, it was to go to school.
Yeah.
At the time, I was driving to see clients. And so whenever I got my travel reimbursement, it was to pay for school.
Yeah.
And I tried to save up a little money. I downsized. And then it was like, you know what, balls to the wall.
Yeah.
I went to nursing school. I went to Prairie View A&M.
Yo,
let
me just remember that nugget. So, ladies and gentlemen, again on the vlogs tab, we have an episode where we were on the college tour. Kizzie actually went with us to Dillard University, right? But she didn't go with us to TSU and PV. We went to PV. We found out the PV is a public institute, so they didn't give us the same rights that Dillard gave us.
Dillard
right?
is private,
right? And so, and also, proud Dillard alums. Shout out to Randy Horn and Amber. They both went to Dillard as well. But she said, Dillard, man. You remember? I don't know if I ever told you what I had to tell PV. You said PV. I'm sorry. I don't remember if I ever told you what I had to do to PV that last semester you were in nursing school.
Oh,
listen,
we're not gonna talk about that.
All right, well we can skip it.
Talk about that.
We can skip it.
No, because PV.
PV, shout out to PV, AMU.
I love, but I was sooner born, sooner bred. When I die, I'm sooner dead.
Ooh.
However,
is that something that they tell you during orientation?
However, PV is where I make my money.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this about her. Listen, and you know, I was so glad to have joined because my brother Terry and I, we went to junior high and elementary together, right? Okay. My brother Bobby and Donna, they did all school together except for college. My parents went to college together. But this woman here, her entire family, with exception to Aunt Dee, right? On your mama's side.
On my mama's side.
Even, we found out even Tish went to Booker T. Washington.
Aunt Dee went to Booker T, but she just didn't graduate. She went to Reagan. She graduated from Reagan.
And Terence didn't go to Booker T as well.
Terence did not go to Booker T.
And so everybody, mom, uncles, cousins, aunts, siblings went to Booker T. Washington.
It was a fight for me to go to Booker T as well because my mama was trying to get me to go to Wild Trip when she was teaching.
Shout out to Wild Trip. I teach at Wild Trip.
Hell no, because the reason why I wanted to go to Booker T.
Oh Lord.
Look, at the time, and even now, I don't consider myself a dresser, but I didn't want to go to Wild Trip because they were in uniform.
Well, now we don't have uniform.
Well, at the time, y'all did, and I was trying to go to Booker T.
No, at the time,
because I knew I wanted to be a part of the Baby Ocean of Soul.
And you weren't even in the Baby Ocean of Soul. You were Mademoiselle.
But I bled 14 karat gold and royal blue.
Listen. You mean they at the time, because I didn't join Waltram staff until 2014-15. That's besides the point.
I'm just saying, when my mama tried to have this conversation with me about, unless you do the engineering program, I really would like for you to go to No, ma'am. Stop that right now. Even though I went to FM Black, and I love FM Black for, the few years that I went there.
Shout out to Black.
Since I was a
Clifton,
little girl,
MC,
I was going to go to Booger, Taliaferro, Washington High.
Established 1893.
By all means necessary. And
you know what I'm saying?
That was the end of that conversation. She's like, okay.
But we talked about us. We talked about Joey. We talked about nursing. We don't really. We'll save me teaching for another episode, right? You'll be back, right? You'll be back.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't do this very often.
Yeah, but this is one thing that me as a husband, as somebody who's trying to make endeavors in media, this is something that I love. I love the fact that you're here. The vibe that we have, the energy is beautiful. I've been trying to do this episode for a while.
Yeah.
But I want to end off the segment about marriage with this quote.
Life goes on.
Shout out to Big Clarence. A successful marriage requires falling in love many times, always with the same person. By, and I might butcher this name, Mignon McLaughlin. A successful marriage requires falling in love many times, always with the same person. By Mignon McLaughlin. Songs of the week. So you were in episode 9, The Misses, part 1. It wasn't part 1, but The Misses. This is, by the way, the name of this episode is called The Misses, part 2. Okay. You were in episode 1 where we talked about songs of the week. Do you have a song?
I do. I was actually just looking up to make sure that I said it correctly. Yeah. I am gonna go to a old school but goodie love song. It is by Terence, Trent, D'Arby. I think Beyonce tried to do a rendition of it, but it's called Sign Your Name. Please, if you never heard it, check it out. And then I have a hubby playlist. I don't know if I can go down the list. But
here we go.
Hey Daddy, A Couple of Evers, Trust Him by Fantasia. That's a great one. Everlasting Love, Tom Terry. Halo, Ego, Find Myself in You, Brian McKnight. Untitled Song, Something in My Heart, Anytime, Any Place, Cater to You, I Never Leave, Beauty, Lately, So You Won't Let Go, 1,000 Years, The Sweetest Things, Blessed, Two Occasions, When You're Mad, Rather Die Young, Best Part of Me, featuring her. That was one of our songs at the wedding, and I absolutely love and think that song will transcend. I told them that was a song, and that was a full song in episode 15. During Songs of the Week, she had said that best part of her. Oh yeah, that song I told would definitely be in the like house. It will transcend a couple of generations. Facts. When We by Tank, Oh Nana, Part 2, Jay-Z, While We Were Young, So Into You, Rocket, Beyonce, With You, Nobody Else But You, Trey Songz. Let Me Love You, Cupid, Frozen, In Case You Didn't Know by Brent Young. I be on some country. Oh yeah. Shout out to KOY number 19, man. Something New by Sir. I want to thank you, Alicia Keys. And then this last but not is Good Man by Neo. Like, I think I like listening to songs where men portray them in a positive light to how they are in love with their woman. So Terence, Trent, D'Arby, check that one out. But then all of those other songs she mentioned, pick some off my playlist. When I'm thinking of my husband, I put that on, and it just makes me think of him, and I get so emotional, guys. So during this episode, the song I remember saying during this episode, Desire, and it clicked to me. You really never were a fan of him, and this is okay. Well, I'm gonna just leave it at that. Well, Desire by Raheem DeVaughn. I just all his songs sound alike. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So the first song that I want to mention is Desire by Raheem DeVaughn. I think you should listen to it. It's a great song. It's okay. Right? T. Melly put me on that album, and I fell in love with it. Shout out to T. Melly. But the second song, I went back to my first love. When I got into the entertainment, when I started to consider myself an artist, I started off as a poet. Okay. And so you'd have been all around the block. A poet, an artist. Well, artist falls off. Okay. Artist is a poet. Artist actor, is the umbrella, and everything is underneath it. Okay. Right. Producer. So, but wait, but you know, baby, the poetry got me into acting. Oh. Okay. So as I'm learning. Okay. So Raheem DeVaughn, Desire. Right. Okay. But I recently went back to my first love, and that was just putting my thoughts down on the page. Different from script writing, was writing poetry, and I was listening to D'Angelo Lady, and I started writing a poem about you. Right? Don't say anything. And the last song that I want to mention is For 2 Weeks in a Row. Right? This one song you had on repeat. Well, yes. Well, last week. It's a good song, though. Episode 17, I mentioned this guy I knew in college. His name is Jack Freeman. Mm-hmm. He had his album Define Love, and the track that I want to highlight from that album is called Talk About It. Talk About It. So that is Raheem DeVaughn, and it's all R&B this time. Raheem DeVaughn, Desire, D'Angelo Lady, and Jack Freeman, Talk About It. Okay. So before we leave, what would you like to give? Because I know you've been asking me a ton of questions. What nuggets would you like to leave for those who are embarking on marriage, either they're engaged or those who are newly married or those who are just in a relationship? What nuggets would you give? Well, I would say this. I think that marriage is something that should last a lifetime. Okay. I think that whoever desires to go into marriage, understand that you will be given half of yourself
to that person. I think that you should just whoever you believe in. I don't know. I can't speak intelligently about everybody, but I know that for me, I believe in Jesus Christ.
Amen.
And I think that I believe in Jesus Christ, but I also believe that love is a prevalent thing, right? And so I know some people don't get married for the simple fact that cultures are not the same and religion is not the same, but that they have this attraction to them. But you need to have something that outside of attraction, outside of culture, outside of like race, that keeps you grounded. And so for me, that is religion. But I would say to anybody, like, you got to understand what love is. Like, you got to understand that when you love this person, you're willing to fight. You're willing to continue to fight. You're willing to continue to fight after that. After everything has failed, you're willing to let go of selfish ways to make yourself better for this person and make your relationship better.
Okay. Sounds good.
So, you know, I mean, that's just my 2 cents about marriage. I think it's a beautiful thing. It's something I've always dreamed about. It's something that I wasn't always prepared for, but I have gotten prepared for. And it's something that I couldn't see outside of you.
Oh, that
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
You're trying to get something tonight, yeah.
oh Lord, here you go. Here you go. So,
Mama, don't you need it?
So, to the love of my life, we're gonna have another episode together because I love your energy on this podcast.
Do you?
I do.
Really?
I do, and I've always told you that. I swear to God, I've always told you that.
I think I am so corny.
No,
I think
you know what, and you know what, we'll, you know what, we won't insert it right now, but I'll insert a clip of Toccara telling you that you might bring something different to the podcast later on.
Know.
And Houston, Texas, you'll see it later on when it's inserted. You'll see this is the end part of the episode, but you'll see it earlier on in the episode right now. But I think that you're a left-sided brain thinker. You think with the left side of your brain, and I think with the right side of my brain.
Okay,
even though
so you creative,
so I'm creative,
and I'm
right?
a little analytical.
So so I think that the mixture of the two can bring about abundant success, right? So I mean, yeah, man, I just I'm appreciative of you being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
And we will bring you back after episode. This is 18, 19, 20, 21. We'll see. So Houston, Texas, man, it's been our pleasure. Again, we're in our establishment, our house for the time being. Y'all pray for us, pray for our marriage, pray for each of us individually. And we're praying for y'all.
Amen.
You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at JohnJack_VM_LLC.
I am currently not on social media. We didn't even get to talk about that, but I'm not on social media. But if you feel like you want to contact me, my email is kdhnee@gmail.com.
Yes.
That was one of my yearly fasts, is just to get away from social media, to focus on my marriage and to not necessarily troll as much as I was.
Facts.
And just to
facts. Because everybody trolls. Everybody trolls. I troll too, but I'm looking at what people are doing career-wise.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I don't I don't compare my journey. It's like I was telling Caleb. I don't
think
compare.
at some point we all compare.
Yeah, well, I don't.
But that's another discussion. I was just trying to give out my email.
Go ahead, baby.
And say
go
that
ahead,
I was
go
not
ahead.
on social media.
Please
at
contact
the
my
moment.
wife. Please
but
contact her.
if you feel like you have something to say, whether positive or negative, I will block you if it's negative. I did it the other day to somebody.
I love negative energy. I love it.
I mean, I'm
Somebody told
gonna
me-
read it.
I think it was Mario that told me there's no such thing as bad publicity.
I didn't say that. I'm not into that. I'm not in that world. I'm not in the world of trying to get people to like me and follow me and to push my platform or whatever the case may be. Because I'm gonna push it myself. But
facts.
But if you want
Let me find out.
Let
You
me
talk
find out.
pushing your platform, and then let me know about your platform.
my platform is here.
Can we say?
It's you.
Can
It's
we say?
chill.
Can we say that you're gonna have a podcast coming soon?
No.
It's in the works, y'all.
No.
Go ahead.
I don't. Anywho, if you would like to contact me,
Yeah.
I'm not giving you my number, but feel free to email me and I will try to respond to you in a timely manner.
Facts.
And if you don't, I'm good.
Yeah.
Life is good.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's hard to be in a career where you have to get people to want to buy into whatever it is that you're doing.
Facts.
Look, I love saving lives.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah. But Houston, Texas, man, it's been our pleasure.
It's been real.
This is episode 18, The Mrs. 2. And y'all should see this sometime. I'm probably going to drop it my birthday week, which is in a couple of weeks, all right?
Yeah.
But
celebration.
Houston, Texas, man, it's been our pleasure, man. Peace, power, prosperity, and purpose.
Love and a sound mind.
Be blessed.
Yo, it feel like 95. Sachi on my body.